So you're starting on your foam roller, rocking your pelvis back and forth. You're connecting to your breath. As you exhale, feel your lower back pressing into that roller. As you inhale, release. Exhale and press, and inhale and release. And I am not using a roller, that's another option. And then all I want you to do now is just kind of rock your legs side to side a little, staying on the roller, rocking a little side to side, and then come back center and lift your right leg up into tabletop. And from here, looking at your leg, just open your right leg about 2 inches to the right and bring it center. And let's do that again 2 more times. 1 more time, and then bring that right foot down and let the left leg float up, and 3 times to the left. And then bring both feet down and let your arms lift up. So you're still on the foam roller, and you're gonna hug your shoulder blades around the roller and reach up. So while you're doing that, I'll again use my half roller to give you that little visual. So your head is resting on the roller as you just let your shoulders hug and reach away. And then from here, bring one arm behind you at a time. And if that feels good to you, bring both arms behind you. So continue on your rollers like that. And then bring your arms by your hips and roll off the roller in whatever way is best for you. Keep your roller nearby because it will assist with some of the other things we're going to do. So let's bring our legs back into tabletop and your hands back to the ceiling. And as you bring your left foot down to the floor, bring your right arm back and come back center and switch, alternating arm and leg. So I've been told this is called dying bug. It's a combination of femur arcs and arm arcs. So I'm knocking out my 2 first things. I'm knocking out lower extremity and upper extremity supine. Then bring both legs together, wrap your hands around your shins, and let's do some femur circles. So I'm taking both knees outward circles, and then both knees inward circles. It should feel really nice in the hip joint. And then bring both feet down, and we'll do some bridging. So from here, just start to press your lower back into the mat. Lift your hips off the floor, 1 bone at a time. So feel that spine articulating as you lift your hips up, and then reluctantly bring your spine back down to the mat, 1 vertebra at a time. So as you do this, my hope is that you can feel the massage in your spine as we go into our bridging. And notice what you're feeling as you do this. Every time I do this, it feels differently. Also, it depends on where your feet are. So maybe play around with bringing your feet in a little closer towards your body and peel up, and notice how it changes how this exercise feels. If anybody has tight quadriceps, they're really feeling the difference. And then bring your feet a little further away and see what happens when you do it this way. Just take your time articulating. Maybe occasionally wiggle your toes. Come all the way down and grab your foam roller, and you're going to put your feet on the roller. So if you don't have a roller, you can always roll up a towel. You can find something that gives you a little lift. If you have an exercise ball, that's an excellent option. And same thing, just like you're doing your bridge. Start by lifting from the tailbone, rolling up your spine. Your feet are resting on the roller, and you could rock your feet back and forth, keeping your gaze over your knees, really lengthening up. And if you can see yourself in the screen, watch to see what's happening in your hips. We're working for hip extension, so maybe you'll notice if you're sinking a little here, can you lift up without flaring the ribs? So it's really one long line from your shoulders towards your knees, and you should really feel those hamstrings firing up. And then slowly roll down again. And just for a feel good, take your roller in, and you're going to lift your hips up and rest your pelvis on the roller. So now your lower back is on top of the roller, and you should feel super happy that it's there. You want to make sure you're not into the lumbar spine. You see my hand wiggling out under there. I am resting on my pelvic girdle. My sacrum is connected to the roller, and I'm going to bring both feet up. We're going to do a little side to side. So I'm looking at my knees, and when I let my legs drop a little to the left, my knees are still together. And I'm come down and I go to the other direction. So we're just going side to side, making sure that we're not letting the top knee slide back. And if you're on the roller, if you have the roller, you're feeling a massage in your hips. So we could do more with this, but for today, I'm just gonna keep it here. And I want you to extend your legs to the sky. We're just gonna do like we're walking big time. So nice big walks, the legs are extended. This is more of a stretch for the hamstrings. You can point or flex your feet. So you didn't ask for this, but I am going to throw in supine legs on the spine corrector, even though we don't have a spine corrector. This is a lot, it mimics that. So from here, go ahead, bring your legs up and do tiny little flutter kicks. And you only go down as low as your lower back allows. So you want to find that position where when your legs come down, you're not feeling this in your lower back. You're actually feeling more core, you're feeling your legs. Now from here, just bicycle. So you're reaching your leg towards the floor as you bicycle your legs and reverse the bicycle. Nice. One more thing here, lower your legs to the point that works for you, and we're going to do some frog kicks. Heels together, toes apart, and just press your legs away. And then go ahead, bring your feet to the mat. Lift your hips up again. We're going to take a stretch break. So hold on to your right leg with both hands. Notice how that feels. And if you want to go deeper, extend your left leg on the mat. Allow your right leg to rest into your hands and circle into that hip joint. And reverse it. Really lengthen that left leg towards the floor, and as you exhale, switch legs. So you're reaching your right leg towards the floor as you circle into the left hip joint. And reverse it. Really lengthen that leg down. Bend the knees in and bring both feet down. Lift your hips off the roller and remove the roller. So I want to revisit something for bridging, and I'm going to come up and turn my mat around because it's harder to see with the black mat. So from here, come back to laying on your back, and we're going to prep for that exercise I told you about, the corkscrew. We're not going to do it, but we're prepping. So I'm going to lift my arms up so you can see my back, and right now I'm just going to lift into a bridge. And then I'm going to roll back down. Now I'm going to shift my weight to my right hip, and I'm going to roll up the right side of my body and come center, and then I'm going to roll down the left side of my body center. And then I'm going to reverse it. I'm going to hit shift to the left side, roll up the left side of my body, and roll down the right side. And let's continue to do that. So imagine you're drawing the letter U as you roll up and down. It should actually feel really therapeutic. I'm hoping everybody is enjoying this variation of bridge. And you can keep your hands down. I just lifted my arms up so you can see better. I really want you to get that articulation in the spine. Is anybody else really feeling the benefit of this? You can give me a thumbs up or raise your hand. Good, at least one person is. Okay, come back down. And another thing for our back, you're gonna walk your feet wide and windshield wiper your legs side to side. Okay, so come back center. Bring your hands behind your head. Everything we're doing is prepping you for all the requested exercises. Lift your elbows up. As you exhale, press your ribs into the mat. Lift your head, neck, and shoulders up and let your head rest into your hands. So this should be really comfortable in the neck, but you should feel some work going on in the abs. And then come back down. So let's say you need a little more of an assistance here. Grab the edges of your mat, the corners of your mat by your head. As you exhale, press the ribs down to lift the head, neck, and shoulders up and let your head rest into the mat. This should give you a really clear idea of what the chest lift is about without using your neck. You should be able to hang out here. So Laura, you might need to go back a little further. Your mat is really high above your head. So see where the mat is on my head?
Yep, I just
got it. And then come back down. It'll really make a difference on how it feels in your neck. And that's my goal for everybody, is to learn how to basically do a crunch without hurting your neck. So as you lift, you're pressing into the ribs and your head is just resting. And I'm gonna let go so you can see that I'm really letting my head rest into my hands. Now I'm gonna lift my arms and reach them behind my hamstrings and see if I can lift a little higher up. And I'm going to let my hands come back down behind my head, and I'm going to roll back down. I'm going to exhale to lift, hands behind the hamstrings, lift a little higher, hands behind the head, and roll back down. One more time. As you exhale, lift, hands behind the hamstrings, lift a little higher, hands behind the head, roll back down. And we're just going to go ahead and grab your shins for femur circles again. Go both directions. And I have a little note for some people that are worried if they have notes. If you're doing a new class or something you're unfamiliar with, there is nothing wrong with having notes because it's something that you don't do all the time. We need to embrace that notes don't mean you don't know what you're doing. So, come back up to sitting, please. And we're going to start this next exercise sitting so you get a feel for the exercise. So I'm going to sit up like this, and I'm going to take my inside part of my leg with that hand that's more towards that, and my outside hand is going to the outside part of my ankle. So for me, this is my left hand is on my left ankle, my right hand is on my left shin. I'm going to lean back a little, and I'm pressing my leg into my hands, and then I'm going to switch, and I'm going to switch. As I do this, I'm using my legs to give me some support. So now that you got the feel or the look of this, we're going to roll down and we're going to go back into that chest lift. So everybody exhale, press down, lift the head, neck, and shoulders, and then grab your legs. And again, grab the outside of your leg with your hand. And don't worry, if you get messed up here, you can always grab your leg, whatever is easiest for you. If you press your leg into your hands, it takes it out of the neck. So from here, it's an inhale and exhale. Now, you don't have to do this like I'm doing. You could go Inhale, inhale, exhale. Exhale, you can do whatever breathing works for you. As you get familiar with what we're doing, if you'd like, you can make this more of a stretch with the leg and bring that knee in even more. Let's do 2 more and rest all the way down. I definitely don't want that to get into the neck. And let's come back into our bridge, more and more bridge. And come back down. Reach your legs into tabletop, and we're going to come into an assisted roll up to come to sitting. Press your toes forward and roll all the way up. So because I want to make sure I balance out what we do, I'm taking the foam roller and I'm going to put it right behind me because I want you to get a stretch in your back. So again, we're getting to a spine corrector exercise, supine stretch. So from here, we're going to roll back, and your shoulder blades are going to be right around the bottom of the roller. The bottom of your shoulder blades will be at the roller. Let your head rest into your hands, and just let your head go back as you exhale, as far back as it feels okay to you. Inhale when you get here, and exhale to come up. So depending on the size of your roller, depends on how easily you can get your head all the way back. I suggest exhaling to avoid the temptation of flaring the ribs. So if you can get your head and neck all the way back, you can open the elbows wide and get a nice stretch in the chest. Take another deep breath. Lift the elbows as you exhale, lift up, and just for fun, lift your hips up a little and roll up and down. I have a very noisy roller. And if you want, you could go from one side into the other. It should just feel yummy. And then since we're here, let's do something nice for our necks and let your neck rest on the roller and start rolling your head side to side. So you can really get a nice massage in your neck. Excellent. Okay, then we're going to remove the roller and come back up to sitting. And you want your feet about mat width apart as you sit up nice and tall. So this is what it looks like from the side. I'm sitting tall on my sit bones. Or if you need to see it from this perspective, and my feet are about yoga mat distance apart. I'm not out like this. I am where I feel stable, and I'm really being aware of not pulling into those hip flexors. Arms are out to the side, and I love to think of myself as a puppet being pulled up tall. Shoulder blades relax in, and your arms can go as far as completely to the side. I personally like them a little forward. It feels better. So from here, I want you to think of your rib cage, and as you exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist to the right. So we're just going to twist a little side to side. As you continue doing this, I'm going to put my hands on my ribs so you can see how I'm moving. So I'm trying very much to keep my hips even, and I'm really working on moving just through the ribs, just side to side. So we're going to let go of any neck tension and less about the arms, more about the ribs. Real tiny here. So this is spine twist. And from here, we're going to start this not like you usually do. So we're here, we're going to go into saw. We're going to twist to the right. Now, this is it for me. And my left hand is right towards the middle of my legs. So from here, I'm going to do a long sit forward. I'm going to come up and twist to the left, long sit forward and come up. So I'm starting here. It's a nice way to warm up, and we're going into saw. And as you continue, see if you can twist a little further and just get to your big toe. So wherever you end up is whatever is right for you. You've seen this in those Pilates books and the Pilates chart. They go all the way to the pinky toe and come back up. You go what is best for you. And remember, it's a twist from the torso and the long sit to come forward. So when you twist, you come forward, up, twist, come forward. It should kind of feel really good. I'd love to see a few more there. Nice. Nice. Drop your chins just a little. Keep the alignment of the head, neck, and shoulders. Excellent. Okay, so from here, while we're here, let's just do a long sit. So your legs are in front of you. Imagine your back is against the wall. Keep your head, neck, and shoulders aligned as you reach forward. So as you do this, you're really pressing your lower back into an imaginary wall as you reach forward. And then unwind yourself to sitting tall. Now this next one we're going to take in stages. So this is called leg pull. So I'm going to start your hands could be however feels best to you. So the first thing we're going to do, I just want you to bend your elbows and straighten your arms. This might be it. You might not want to do any more than this. If you are okay here, I'd like for you to lift your hips up and come back down. Lift them up again and come back down. I really want you to keep your hips even. If that's not for you, I'm going to give you a little break and you're going to be here and do a couple pelvic tilts up and down. So I want to make sure everybody is getting something out of this. Okay, so now here's another option to get everybody sort of on the same page. I think everybody can come down to your forearms. Is this okay for everyone? And keep your head and neck and shoulders aligned. You can even drop your chin a little. And all I want you to do here is lift one leg up and come down and lift the other leg up and come down. And if you want to give it a try, give yourself a little lift. I wouldn't go any higher than that. And then come back up. So I want you to find the best positioning for you. It's a lot of pressure on the wrist. So if you need a wrist break, we're going to go like this. Hands are behind you. Imagine somebody put a hammock under your behind and they have it being hoisted by a crane. Your hands are back here. Find the position that works for you. I can't decide with my hands. From here, I want you to imagine the hammock being pulled up and come back down. Try both versions with your hands and see what, I think I like that better. So how's that feeling? I know it's a lot. So I personally am having some issues in my lower back. So I am not going to lift one leg at a time. But if you're feeling really secure and you want that extra challenge, you can lift up. And when your leg is up, you could lift one leg up. And if you'd like, lift the other leg up and come back down. Or you could do what I'm doing. What you could do is you could stay here and you could work on lifting up and coming down. And even if you don't come high, that's okay. And if you need a break, take it. So these are ways we layer with the class. And if you don't want to go all the way up, just try one leg at a time. And I think that's enough of that because I know there's some people in this class that don't really want to have a whole lot of pressure on their wrists. So from here, we're going to flip around and go into quadruped. So we're going to come to our hands and knees. You can put your hands in a fist for wrist position. If it's really bugging you today, you can come to your forearms. What I'd like everybody to do right now is a couple cat and cows. So this position that I'm in is really nice and friendly if you have a lot of things going on in your hands and wrists. If you don't and you feel pretty good here, I encourage you to come into this position, because even if you do have things going on in your thumbs, it's a nice position to stretch out your hands. I want you to find what's best for you. So this is the last one other than push-up that we're going to be in this position. So let's grab our foam rollers and put them by your knees. And we're going to roll all the way down to our forearms, and we're going to roll from the top of our hips to the top of our knees. So right now we're just rolling out our quadriceps, and we're really being mindful to keep our back sturdy and long. Excellent. And we can come back and let's take a quick child's pose. I highly recommend, if you'd like, to put your wrists on the foam roller and take child's pose like this to get more opening in your chest. Really breathing into that lower back. And then roll up. And then come all the way down to the mat on your belly. So this next one, I want you to keep your hands so that your elbows are a little more forward. And if you can, your ribs are resting on the mat. And I really want you to think about lifting your lower back towards the ceiling so that you're not pulling into the lower back. And then you can energize and pull yourself forward a little. So we're here, we're keeping ourselves engaged, and I want you to lift the right leg up and kick twice and lengthen down. Left leg kicks and lengthen. So it's a kick, kick, and lengthen. Kick, kick, and lengthen. Ooh, am I cramping up? Kick, kick, and lengthen. Kick, kick, lengthen. Notice if you start to sink into your shoulders, lift up again. If it's better for you, you can bring your elbows closer in. I just want you to avoid pulling into the lower back. And kick, kick, and lengthen. One more time each leg. Kick, kick, lengthen, and kick, kick, and rest. And let's take child's pose. So I like my knees separated, hands in front. Let the head rest on the mat. Take a nice deep breath, feeling the lower back getting more space. Let's tap back into that breath. Tap back into your present moment, remembering that this is your time that you've carved out for yourself. From here, as you exhale, roll from your lower back and roll forward into a cat pose. And then we're going to take our right arm and lace it underneath you. Keep your hips even and look under your left shoulder, getting a thread the needle. So this is some of our yoga. On your next breath, come up and switch sides. Thread the needle on the other side, keeping those hips even. I'm keeping these pretty easy today because I'm throwing in a lot of different things today. So now we're going to work into dart. So dart, for my yoga people, is basically locust. So hopefully you know what I mean, but if not, it's okay. So we're going to lay on our bellies. And one of the reasons I go into child's pose and all that in between is because I don't want to overdo the arching in the lower back. So from here, let your forehead rest on your mat. And for right now, I'd like you to put your palms face down. And all I want you to do, keeping those hip bones anchored into the mat, is lift your nose up, then reach your hands up and reach your hands towards your feet. And you're only going to come up as high as it feels appropriate to you. Nobody should feel this in the lower back. It's mostly upper back. Head and neck lifts according to the chest. And then come back down. I'd like to see you all do it. So let's go ahead, lift your nose off the mat.
Lift your hands off the mat and reach back. Really focus on the chest. Boy, we're gonna do more of those foam rollings for the back. Excellent, and come back down. So now the next time we do this, we're gonna do some slow pumps with the arms. So from here, palms down, nose up, hands up, chest up, and I just want you to pump the arms up and down nice and slow. Now I invite you, if you'd like, you can flip the palms, but it's better on your posture and your neck with the palms down. And then come back down and rest. Now there's one option I want you to be really careful about. It's the 100 on your belly. So this is really great for people who can't do the 100 on their backs. So your forehead is on the mat, palms down. You're gonna lift your chest, lift your head, lift your hands, lift your feet. And we're just gonna inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 2, 3, 4, 5, exhale 2, 3, 4, 5. I made that a 50 instead of 100. And we're gonna come back into child's pose. That's because we got a lot going on. So this time, for your child's pose, let's do the side stretch. So you're gonna bring both hands to the far upper right-hand corner of the mat. And you're gonna send both hips to the back left corner. So you're stretching on a diagonal. If you have anything going on in your knees, I highly recommend taking your foam roller or towel and putting it behind your knees to alleviate the pressure. And then come up and switch sides. My hope is everybody is actually liking what we're doing right now. So I'm hoping you feel that nice stretch. Okay, we're gonna go back to another exercise for chest extension, which everybody needs. This is called scarecrow. So from here, you're back to your nose on the mat, your forehead on the mat. Your elbows, think of the letter E. If you were looking at yourself from above, your head is the middle and your arms are the top and the bottom of that capital E. So from here, lift your nose off the mat. Now lift just your forearms and hands off the mat. Now lift your elbows off the mat and come back down. So the next thing you're gonna do, lift your nose, forearms, elbows, thoracic extension, lift that chest, reach your hands forward, back, down in the opposite direction. So nose, forearms, elbows, chest, reach in. Let's try a couple more. Let's do just 2 more. Actually, let's do 3 more. 1 more. Drop down to your chest, elbows, forearms, head. And that's it for that one. So let me see what's next on our list. Okay. We did single leg kick. We're going to do double leg kick. But before we do that, I'm going to have you lay on your left side. We did a lot of extension in the lumbar spine, so I want to give us a little break. So we're going to lay on our sides, and you're going to hold the back of your head with your hands. Everything is stacked. Knees, hips, everything. Shoulders pull down and lift up your right elbow. Think of pressing your right shoulder blade to the floor behind you as you look over your right elbow. Taking your time and getting a nice stretch in your entire body. Unwind. And since we're here, go ahead and reach that right arm forward. You can do whatever you want with that bottom arm. Reach your right arm to the sky and then roll back again. So my bottom hand is guiding my top leg to keep it in alignment.
And if you could hear that popping, I apologize. That's just that side of my body will pop. And then unwind. And we're going to go to the other side. So you can roll to the other side however you want. I'm just flipping around so I can see you. And we'll start, pardon me?
When you open your arms or your elbows or whatever, you are facing, the gaze does not go beyond straight up. Is that right?
Yeah, let me try and talk you through that so I'm 100% on that one.
Or I'm gonna just watch you.
Okay, that's cool. So you're laying on your side, and this is not the most important part, but it is encouraged to keep the knees stacked and the hips stacked. It's okay if that top leg slides back a little. So I press my shoulders down to keep my neck happy. Then I lift my elbow and I press that shoulder down. Now I'm going to turn my head to look at that elbow, and my focus is the shoulder blade. The top shoulder blade is rolling back, and I'm keeping the gaze along with that. So actually my head is looking over my left elbow and my head is turned to the left.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And that, I believe, is 100% correct. And if it isn't, I would argue it. Come back center and take whatever you want to do here. Some people like to use their bottom arm as a pillow. Reach your top arm forward. Reach it to the ceiling. And notice where my arm is. My arm is not here. My arm is here. Just doing that with my neck thing feels like a nice stretch. Now from here, we're going to roll back again. And I'm just letting my head, it's almost as if you can visualize your spine and imagine your head on top of your spine going around it in a most natural way. Take a nice deep breath here. If you do have neck issues, you should feel a nice stretch. Most everybody is going to feel this in their chest. This is great for so many people, for so many things. And then unwind, and we're going to go back to facing the floor and do another prone exercise. I was chuckling at how many prone exercises we had. So we're going to do double legs kick. So with double leg kick, we're going to just work the leg part right now. So I want you to extend your legs. Your thighs are more on the floor. Your feet are probably off the floor. Oh boy, am I cramping up. Sorry, got a cramp in my leg. So from here, it's 3, 2, 1, extend. 3, 2, 1, extend. So I'm cramping up because I did stand-up paddle boarding for an hour and a half yesterday, and that is a lot of lower body work. One more time. 3, 2, 1, extend. Okay, so to give my hamstrings a break, I'm going to have everybody roll to their backs for a moment, and we're going to stretch out our hamstrings. So we're going to go on our backs. And I'd love for you to just grab your right leg, and if you're feeling really open, you can extend your left leg straight. You're just going to straighten and bend that right leg. Now, I am going to tell you what I'm doing to make this very doable. I'm actually massaging my fingers into my right hamstring, and this is not precise, and I can't say to definitely do it, but I really feel a benefit here, and it is called flossing. You're working on releasing the bind of the nerve so you can actually get into the stretch. So once your leg is as straight as you can get it, press your leg into your hands and release, and work on how high up you'd like to bring your hands, and you're just pressing and releasing. Whew. Everybody getting a nice stretch here?
Yeah.
Good, we need it. If you'd like, you can point and flex your foot. If you have a Pilates circle, this is a great place for it. You can put it on the bottom of your foot. And then you could even go side to side. And then from here, open your right leg on a diagonal to the right side, getting a nice stretch in your inner thigh and hamstring. And then exhale, center, and bend that knee and hug it into your chest. If you like, since we're here, go ahead and cross that leg all the way over. So now we're getting a different variation of book opening. I call this spinal twist. Unwind back to your back and let's stretch out that left hamstring. So always start here so that you don't overstretch. And you just start by straightening and bending, and then just see how you're feeling. Maybe it feels okay to straighten out that bottom leg. And if you need to, you can massage your fingers into the muscles of the left hamstring. And once you feel like you've gotten to that point where you can stretch it statically, lift it up. You could use a circle, a strap, or your hands. Press your leg into your hands and release. Maybe come higher. And I like doing this. I really love the neural tension or the neural release. But you could do whatever works for you. I just like to play around with the movement. And then bend your knee and cross that left leg all the way over to the right side. Are you okay, Naomi?
Yeah, be back in a second.
Okay. Roll your head over to the left side. Ooh, how's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Come back and roll back. Okay, I think that gave us enough of a stretch. I'm just kind of rocking side to side to get into that double leg kick. So from here, we're gonna roll back to our bellies. And you're gonna rest your head on the mat and your hands are gonna be behind you, resting on your lower back. So the upper choreography of this, you'll do 3, 2, 1, and lift your head, neck, and shoulders, and come down, 3, 2, 1, and lift. And you're gonna alternate what side your head rests on. So when you come down, it's 3, 2, 1, inhale and lift. Come down, let your head rest the other side. 3, 2, 1, inhale and lift. Come down to the other side. 3, 2, 1, and lift. As you come down, it's 3, 2, 1, and lift and rest, and you can come into child's pose. Excellent. How's everybody doing? Like the different stuff?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I keep flip-flopping you, but that's because the next two things are pretty challenging and I want to make sure I keep you balanced. So, I think what I'm going to do before we do Swan 2 is a forearm or a hands-on plank. So for my people who cannot be on their wrists and hands, we're going to start with the forearm plank. So I'd like for you to grab your opposite elbow with your opposite hand. Now, I am actually pressing my hips in. My lower back is not arched. I'm going to unfold my arms in front of me so I'm shoulder width apart. My toes are curled under, and as I exhale, I'm pressing my heels back to lift up into that plank. And we're just going to hold that for a moment. And you can hold it for as long as you want, but I don't want you to overdo it because, again, we have more stuff coming. And go ahead and rest for a second. However you want to rest. I'm just looking at everybody. Okay, so the option is a full plank like this. So if this is not for you, go back to the forearm plank and bring one leg back and bring the other leg back and just hold the plank. Just hold the plank. And I want you to imagine there is a beam of light going from the crown of your head through your heels, and you're gonna levitate your hands off the mat. And then you can rest. Personally, I think that's easier than the forearm plank, but yeah, everybody's different. Okay, so I was asked to work on push-ups.
So there are some people who will not be doing push-ups. For those of you who are not in the push-up mode, I would like you to go back to laying on your back and doing your arm release and press in just like this. For everybody else, your hands are going to be like this on the mat, and we're going to start in a modified plank. Now from here, let's go ahead and do exactly what my other people on the floor are doing, and you're sinking and lifting out of your shoulders. So you should feel a lot of energy in the shoulder joint. You're in a modified plank. Your feet are on the mat, if you can, and then take a 2-second break. So we definitely want to build the strength here. So my suggestion is work on full planks and just holding that to start. But when you actually work on getting into the push-up, drop down to your knees and then slowly start to bend your elbows and push up. So we're taking it in stages. So let's get into our full plank. Drop to the knees. And I want you to keep this form as you bend your elbows, and the minute you feel like you're going to lose the form, come right back up. And then come back into child's pose. We're only going to do a couple more things like this, I promise. So widen your hands, come back into your quadruped, come into your plank, come back down to just your knees, and see how far you can come down, and then press all the way up. And come to child's pose. Nice. So the whole idea is to find a way to build the strength. I'm not going to do any more than that. Lori and I can work on that after class. So that's a lot, and I just wanted, and something nice for your hands if you can do it is to do what I'm doing right now. So in, out, out.
Very good.
Thank you.
I need that.
It's really good for your hands. And we really do need to make sure that we are doing more in there. I mean, I can't predict what everybody needs here, but I know for myself, I have issues too. So I'm really working on strengthening that. This is another thing. You got this from Cora. You want to really, like, I always call it spirit fingers, squeeze and release your hands. And that's supposed to be really good for the wrists and hands. Squeeze and release. So those are your ways to heal and get stronger. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not looking forward to this next exercise. So since we're sitting, let's take a 2-second break, and we're going to sit up tall in your Z-sit position. So you should have your left leg forward and your right leg back. We're sitting tall, your spine should be tall. If this is really not comfortable, you could sit on a roller or a block. Whatever you need to do to make this as comfortable as possible. So if you need to, you can plop up like this, and it really makes it so much nicer. I actually like it better here, but I'm going to suffer and bring it down. We're going to bring our right arm up. I want you to think of this side of your body, the left side of your rib cage, those floating ribs, they're going to lift as you come up and over. Now take that top arm and lace it underneath you and look under the hole that you're creating. Unwind and come back to your side. Come center and take a counter stretch. And let's switch sides. I definitely need the roller on this side. So you're going to go ahead and get yourself into the Z-sit position, sitting nice and tall. Even on the roller, this is not a party for me. From here, we're sitting tall. Yeah, the higher up you are, the easier this is. You're going to lift your left arm up. Same thing on the right side, feel the floating rib floating up as you come up and over. Now, the interesting thing about this is the more you do this, the easier it is on your lower back. I just have to admit, I haven't been doing it as much as I should. And come back up, take the counter stretch, and come back down. Okay, so Swan 2. It's really not that bad, and I think everybody can do it. Do I have anybody in here who has stenosis? Good. Okay, so from here, we're going to start with just a cobra. So your hands are under your shoulders. I'm not putting any weight on my hands at all. My nose is hovering off the mat and I'm pulling my shoulder blades down. My pubic bone is anchored into the mat, and I'm going to lift my hands off the mat and see how far up I can lift without using my hands. Now I'm going to add my hands, and I'm going to energize more and straighten my legs, and I'm going to be up, but I'm not in anything but a nice long arc. So I'm not like this, I'm up here. I'm resting on my thighs. Now I'm going to bend my elbows, and as I bend my elbows, I'm looking ahead and letting my feet lift up. I'm going to come up, and as I do this, I'm going to lift my hands and come up. So it's like a rocking, and I'm keeping my gaze up, and I'm working through the chest. You guys can rest so that my head doesn't hit the floor. That looks great. Okay, so everybody can lay on their backs again. And we're going to do one more thing. So I'm going to start everybody up with the yummy thing. Your feet are on the wider edges of the mat, and you're just going to windshield wiper your legs side to side. So this should feel super yummy, and you should be super happy we're here. The next time your legs drop to the left, let them stay there. If you feel a pull in your right knee, you can take your roller and rest it like this. It'll take the pain away. The higher up you are, the less stress in your knee. So that's really up to you. I want you to press that back leg forward. You should feel a big stretch in the front of that top leg. Allow the leg to relax and take your hands behind you. I'm holding my head like this with my hands. Pick up that right elbow, bring it up, and bring it all the way up and over to the floor on the left side. So just stay here and just feel the magic happen. I want you to feel the quadratus lumbarum releasing. Maybe you feel a restriction in your psoas. Feel that opening up. And just stay here and breathe. And unwind. And then let both legs drop to the right. Take a moment here, maybe walk that left foot further back. Press the left thigh forward, and don't forget, if the knee does not like this, you can always take something and put it under the knee for extra support. And then we'll take that left elbow, bring it all the way up and over to the floor on the right side. Letting go of any extra hanging on. So maybe you'll notice that you're tense. Can you take a deep breath and release? Unwind back to your back and take a moment here. And I want everybody to just kind of rock your pelvis back and forth. So we're going to layer. This is our last big exercise. We're going to layer it, and you're going to only do what feels right and good and safe to you. So I want to make sure that I do not hit that wall behind me. We're going to start with just that U bridge. So from here, shift your weight to the right side. Roll up the right side of your body. Roll down the left side of your body. Come center. Shift to the left. Roll up the left side of your body. Roll down the right side of your body and rest. You can do that the whole time.
If you'd like, extend both legs up, shift to the right side, circle both legs towards the head, shift to the left side, circle center. From here, shift to the left side, bring both feet towards your head, shift to the right side, come center. So that's a nice way to start. And then from here, if you really want to, you can press yourself into a rollover, shift, and first roll all the way back down. And then once you get down, circle your legs out and around, come back up. Boy, am I tight today. Okay, so from here, you're pressing your thighs to the sky. Keeping your hips even, shift your weight to the left, roll down the left side of your body, circle up and around, come up the right, roll down the right side of your body, come up and around. Boy, I am tight, tight, tight. So this really is about how much mobility you have in your lumbar spine, and I have none today. So I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna try this one more time. So from here, you lay back, legs come up, shift to the left, roll down, legs up and over, come up, come back center, shift to the right, roll down, come back up, come back center, roll all the way down, legs down, out and around, and hug your knees and do some femur circles. So that was not an awesome demonstration of corkscrew, but it gives you the idea. I gave myself a little assistance. And let's just take one more assisted roll up and one more child's pose. We need it. Knees apart, come back into that child's pose. Let your head rest. Take a couple deep breaths here, really opening up your lower back into that child's pose. Excellent. So for those of you who would like, you can pick however you want to find your way into a downward facing dog. And then walk your hands and feet towards each other. And stop right when you get your hands to your thighs. So from here, we're going to just do a couple standing cat-cows. So exhale into cat, inhale into cow. Couple standing cat-cows, really being kind to your lower back. You did a lot of work there today, and I want to make sure everybody's happy there. Roll all the way up to standing. Press your shoulders down. Now I want you to imagine somebody just grabbed the top of your right ear and they're pulling it to the sky. Keep both shoulders even. Turn your head to look over to where the right corner of the room meets the ceiling. And then roll your chin and look down towards the left armpit. Roll your chin center. Lift your head up. And now reach your left ear to the sky. Keep the shoulders even. Look up to where the left corner of the room meets the ceiling. Look down towards your right armpit. Roll center, lift up. Thank you guys for being such good sports for a different kind of class today. And I look forward to most of you. I'm going to turn off the recording. Coming back soon.